Hello everyone, welcome back to Data Vidyalaya. I'm Suresh Reddy. So in the last video, we have seen the introduction of the Claude Code, and we have set up how we can set up the Claude in our VS Code and in our local machine. So in this video, we will see few of the terminologies so that if we are using the terminologies, it has to be understandable and get into our thought process, like what's going on behind the scenes when you are interacting with the Claude Code. Okay, so let us go into I have crisped the terminologies, very few terminologies like which are relevant terminologies I have crisped down. So we'll get into that terminologies, but before getting into that, please subscribe to the channel, and if you like the content and all, please click on the like button, and if you have any queries, you can ask in the comments and all. I will be responding regarding that. Okay. So now we will get into the terminologies. Okay. So these are the high level terminologies like we can think of. Like one is the tokens. Tokens are nothing but whatever the input text that you interact with the Claude. Okay. So if you are typing any prompt and all, no, so it divides into tokens. So that token is nothing but but a sum of keywords, like where if you are asking a particular prompt of 5 words, like it will be split into 5 tokens. So each token will have four characters. Like it is not the uh, it will be around 4 characters. Like it's not mandatory that it has to be 4 character. It will split into a token. Like it will be a particular word you can assume, or it is a part of a punctuation mark or whatever that you can assume that. Okay. And the next one is the context window. Context window is nothing but how the Claude understands what is the intention or the context that the user is interacting with that particular session or not. So we will see how the Claude will understands the context. So if you are open a particular session, so it will, as you are interacting with that, it keeps on understanding the context. So from where the user is asking the relevant, inputting the relevant prompts and all. So that it understands the context. I will show you that how the Claude uh, takes that context and keeps on increasing that Claude's working memory. And the models, that we have around 3 models. So there are another model which is coming up new. Like mostly there are models like Cloud HiQ, like which is the uh, base version, and then Cloud Sonnet and Opus. So we have Sonnet of 4.5, like which is the balanced model, and Opus where you wanted to plan the complex use cases or scenarios and all. You can do that in Opus. And there is one file where if you open any session, or if you wanted to give the specific context to the model, like what exactly you wanted to achieve, relevant to the, for example, you wanted to you wanted to implement some any data analytics project, and where you want the behavior of the Claude to follow the particular standards, or to follow particular ways of the code. Okay. And particular way of reasoning and all. So those, if you wanted to describe in that, so it uses this Claude.md, and there will be some of the slash codes, like where you when you interact with the Claude, no, like you it will have some slash codes which makes the life easier for the user to work on that. And there is like permissions. So uh, permissions is nothing but just how you how what means, like what Claude does or automatically, and what needs to be used for an approval and all. So mostly permissions, like we will be not touching those, but remaining and all, we can do that. Why? Because if you touch the permissions, no, like there will be no interaction of the human in the loop. So if Claude does that automatically, then there is a mistake of, like, the task or the goal which it has to achieve may go in a different way. So everything, if the human keeps on approving what is the command relevant to the command what Claude is executing and all, no, so it makes that the task achievable and all. Okay. So I will get into the details of the each of the terminologies so that it will be easier to catch, like whenever I open or you understand, you have gone through these particular terminologies. Okay. So first one is the token. Token is nothing but, like as I said, like it is just a one word. Okay. So here hello is one token. You hear hello, how are you is like five tokens. Like hello it considered as one word, and comma space it considered second word, how it considered third word, or it considered fourth word, and you and question mark it considered as five tokens. Okay. So it is just an approximate way of analyzing that if you split a particular sentence or a particular text into a tokens and all, no, so it would be around that particular term, number of tokens. And there is 750 words, in the sense like if you have a 750 words in a page with the blanks, I mean the with the spaces and with punctuation marks, and if there is any number numerical ones and all, if you split that, so on an average, like it will be around 1000 tokens approximately. The same way with 500 lines of code, in the sense like with spaces, everything and all next line characters. So those things, if you consider, it will be around 3000 to 5000 tokens. Okay. So that's not the exact number of tokens, it's the approximate number of tokens. Okay. And as I said, that models, like we have three models. I will show you like how the models, once you click on slash models and all in the Claude, in the using the Copilot chat, when you use this particular term slash model and all, you get an access where you can select the model and all. And here, like what model is used for what? It's not the mandatory, like you need to follow this, but these are the approximate things and all. HiQ, Sonnet, Hopus. So HiQ is mostly for simple and fast execution of the tasks. Sonnet is for the daily coding tasks and all. And as I said, no, Opus is mostly for complex reasoning use cases, or a complex thing which needed some brainstorming and all. You can use this Opus and all. Okay. And yeah, Claude.md, as I said, no, it's a permanent memory, like where whenever you open a session, what Claude is that it first considers this it will read this Claude.md file, and it understands that what's the intention of the user, like how it has to behave based on the instructions that you given clearly in the Claude.md. So that you can do in two ways. Like as I said, there will be a .claude folder in your laptop, with sorry, in your system, where it will be accessible to all the repos irrespective of the repos. There will be, if you wanted to divide and segregate that into a different GitHub, different repos and all, you can use this .github folder you can create, and within that you can pass the same instructions in Copilot instructions.markdown file. So the small similarity here is that a small difference here is that in Claude.md, like where it is accessible to all the repos, wherever if you wanted to behave, like for example, in your system, you have a different repos, like one repo is related to some data science use case, one repo is related to data analytics use case, and one repo is related to data engineering use case. You wanted to Yeah, you wanted to uh, make a different memory, like where you wanted to showcase that. For example, you wanted to follow the different types of coding standards, or different type of structure of the repo you wanted to give, or folder structure, or common commands you wanted to update and all. No? Then you can do that independently. Like I'll show you like how you can add this .github and what is the instructions, like .md file. You can make that, and you can use of that for the Claude to follow that particular instructions before whenever it is updating that particular code in the repo. Okay, so that is one thing. And yeah, without it, Claude starts fresh and gets on its standard, whereas it reads with by using this Claude.md, it follows this particular things and all. Okay. And these are the commands, like we will see that .help and .clear and .model .compact. Compact is nothing but it summarizes the conversation which you have done. It reduces the context memory, what is understood. Like instead of going into this percentage of, for example, 100%, it will make that to 20-25% of where it will summarize its own conversation, what between the conversation between the Claude responses as well as the user prompts and all, to understand the context further to give the free space for the user to give the more context to the Claude model. Okay. And yeah, so can we go through each of these? Okay. I will tell you like how it will works and all. Okay. So let us see. And yeah. Yeah, we'll see that in the dot cloud, what is the cloud dot memory which we have updated. Okay. So see del dot cloud. Yeah, I'm opening the Visual Studio. Yeah. So if you see here in the Visual Studio, so I have taken one session. Okay. So this is the cloud.md file, like where so this is a system. This is one ML application, like where you wanted this means like where we are executing one of the machine learning algorithm to execute this. So for example, this is the cloud.md. Suppose if I takes the new session, okay. For example, if I takes the new session, yeah, new chat. So this has created the new chat, okay. So automatically it reads the cloud.md file, which is this file. So where it is storing it, see users del and dot cloud means like it is storing at the particular path where every repo can use that. Okay. So that's what I was saying, no, the cloud.memory. For example, if you wanted to use these instructions or these paths, like what is mentioned here, so it has this, sorry. So it has this particular set of instructions where we are overviewing the particular project to follow this process. Okay. And we are giving that what is the repository structure and pipelines and the entry point, what it has to be there, what is the ML stack it has to be there, and what it has to do. So everything, like all power pipelines are modular and reusable. It has to be reusable and it has to be environment specific. So it has to be that generic where every repo has to follow, or if you wanted to make it as a project specific, like where you wanted to utilize this particular cloud.md file, okay, where you wanted the particular users, like for example where you wanted the this repo only to follow, no. So at that time what you can do is that you create a new folder. Sorry, you need to create at the repo level. You need to create it. Yeah. So you can create a .github, and then within that GitHub, you just create one new file and name it as like Copilot space. Sorry, instructions hyphen instructions .md. Okay. So once you create this, no. So if you wanted this same instructions to be there, no, you can just copy paste and update this Copilot like this. Once you update this, no, so automatically this Copilot this chat will read this Copilot instructions dot markdown file, and it approaches the solution whatever the user instructions, no, within the standards or within the instructions whatever you are giving, no, it will be within that limits of this whatever the instructions that you have passed. So this is one of the context or the idea you are giving for the cloud to proceed or to follow or to respond in particular or to write the code in a particular standards and all. Okay. So that is the first thing. Okay. So token is nothing but, for example, can you please start writing the writing the test cases. PyTest cases for this repo. Okay. So if here you are given, can you please start writing the PyTest cases for this repo? So automatically, can you please, so these all will be divided into tokens, and where it will start, it will start dividing that split. Okay. Means like it will split that into tokens. Okay. And whatever the files is there, no, these all files, whichever in this repo, you see, if you see here, it was reading this particular files and all. So whatever the yeah, like these files, it keeps on reading. No, this it will take into the context along with the previous conversation, whatever the historic conversation it has within this session, it will consider that, and then it process the request with the relevant model, whatever the model you have been specified, and then it will respond based on the instructions or the Claude.markdown file is whatever the instructions you have given. Along with that, it will analyze that as well, and then it will provide the responses and all. Okay, within that standards which you specified, no, it will provide the instructions. Okay, so that is how it works. Okay, so if you see, it keeps it has created a particular tests folder. Okay, and it keeps on creating this conf test. Okay, test cases it keeps on adding. Okay, let me create a test file for the feature engineering pipeline. So for the feature engineering pipeline, what are the test cases and all, it keeps on adding. Okay, so that's how it keeps on giving or adding the adding means like writing the code to it. Okay. Yeah, see, it created one test pipeline as well. Okay. See, yeah, it keeps on creating the files. Okay. So along with that, I can show you that. So this is the context window. So far you have used this 38.8K tokens. So these are the tokens. Okay. So see, token is nothing. A token is like whatever you are inputting along with the response from the cloud, it considered as a tokens. So whether you are giving, which we call it as input tokens, response, we call it as an output tokens. So based on that, both scenarios, it keeps on increasing the context window. I was telling that context memory and all. So it keeps on increasing the context memories and all. Okay. So that is one thing, but we can optimize this. We can optimize this by passing one command called slash compact. I will tell you those commands which we were mentioning, no, like slash clear, slash model, slash help and all. We will see that. Okay. Yeah, these are new the files. It keeps on testing the different pipelines. Okay, relevant to this. Yeah. So as you keep on giving that, we can stop this. Okay. So far, we can stop this by clicking on the stop button. So like this, keeps on creating that. So there were some commands I was explaining now, which is like a slash model. So once you click on slash models, it will show you that what are the models. I was saying no, that there was three models like Claude HiQ and Claude Sonnet. So and there was a GPT. Okay, Claude Opus. So far we are working on only these two models: Claude HiQ, Claude Sonnet, and Claude Opus. As I said, like Sonnet and Opus are some of the enterprise models, like where we need to take the subscription and all. As of now, we are running all these things with the Claude HiQ itself, which is a base model and free version of it. And if you wanted to compare, if you wanted to get the new commands, okay. So if you click on slash help, okay, so then it gives few of the instructions like where you can use that particular keyword or the prompts to get the relevant work needed to be done. Okay, so you can ask some of the commands like these are some of the commands. It helps you to test those pipelines and all, whatever for whatever you created and all. And then there is an option called slash compact. Okay, slash, as I said, no, like it is a slash compact. So far if you see in the context window it is 28%, no. Okay, so 28% of the tokens it has been understood, and it has taken this particular context under, no. So if you click on slash compact, okay, see how it reduces from 28% to whatever the percents it reduces and all. See, it is compacting the conversation, like whatever the conversation so far we had for creating these PyTest cases and all, no. So it reduces that and all, and reduces this context window understanding. See, so see, 28% it has been reduced to 2%. So 3.9 tokens. So 28 point K, around 30K tokens, it has come from compressed to 3.9K. But in the background, the understanding or the summarization will be the same. It will not be the different. The same understanding, everything will be the same. Okay. And yeah, if you wanted to clear this session, like if you want to just clear this session, you can click on clear the session. So hence session has been cleared. So whatever the session has been cleared, no, it has been cleared. So these are few terminologies. So to make you understand what exactly is a token, what exactly is Markdown file, which is memory. Whenever a new session start, it will keeps on reading that memory, and it will start executing its responses. And there are some commands, as I said, like slash help, where you wanted to get like what are the available commands in it, and then slash clear, which will clear the session, and slash model, what are the models available, and slash compact, which will clear the conversation. And there is one context memory window which I showed you, know, that many tokens it keeps on adding and all. Yeah, these are few of the terminologies. If you start implementing and use it to that, no, you can get to that. Okay, yeah, so far that's the aim of this session. So to understand you the terminologies and all. So in the next session we can get into that we can get into the get into the how we can work with the uh, Claude, like how means like tool usage and all, we can get into that. And before that tool usage, like we can get into that how we can write the right prompts and all, which is the core of the core of what whenever you are interacting with any AI agents, AI tools and all. So prompting is one of the uh, interactive element or the communication tool which will give the derived or the efficient responses of what you are expecting. Okay, so that you will get in the next video. So please subscribe to the channel and click on the like button, and if you have any queries, please comment it out. Thank you and happy learning.